Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Okay, here we go.
Where the plays get broken down and science gets denied.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
Hour 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Raising Cane's studio.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 here on a Friday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp here with you, filling in for Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn. Alondra Villarreal out as well. One remaining member of Off the Bench here on a Friday. Jordan Kitchens, Braxton Rizzuto along for the ride as well. Hour number 1, very NFL draft heavy, is round 1 last night. Round 2 and 3 here later this afternoon. Right now, though, I want to shift focus from the NFL over to college football as LSU just about set to wrap up their spring practice. We'll be joined by Jace LeJeune of Gridiron Football. Jace, how you doing this morning?
Doing good, Taylor. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. You know, you and I, we were talking back and forth the other day, and you told me about all these camps you guys were having over at Gridiron Football. Tell me about the camps, man. You've had a number of these things going on.
Oh, yeah. We usually put on about 2 camps per month, and anybody's really not familiar with what we do. We host a bowl game at the end of the year. It's for seniors after their senior seasons are over with. They get to go to LSU, Louisiana Christian University, and perform in front of college coaches. And we've had a pretty good success in sending a lot of guys to play at the next level. And we recruit a lot of the guys for the bowl game from these camps, these all-season camps. And that's going pretty good. We've had a kid at one of our camps earlier this off season. He actually ran a 4.2940 at our camp.
That's pretty fast, right?
Yeah, it's pretty fast. I mean, if you compare him with everybody else in the NFL Combine, I'll probably put him the 4th fastest, which is pretty crazy for a high school kid. But he entered that camp with 1 offer, and 1 D1 offer, and now he's up to 16 after the video was posted of him running the 40. He's from Grant High School. Ahmad Sykes, I think he's rated now as a 3-star recruit, so he's definitely a guy that's on the rise. He was at LSU's junior day as well, so he's actually on LSU's radar as well. So trying to help a lot of kids get exposure and get their name out there, and that was definitely a big success story for us this offseason.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you guys do over there at Gridiron Football, which is why I always love having you on. Jace, moving from the high school ranks over to the guys that are already on college campuses, LSU spring football. Last media availability was actually yesterday, so that is the last we will get to see of the Tigers here in the spring of 2026. So, let me ask you this. I understand you've been busy with camps and stuff, but the time you were able to get out there, it seemed like earlier in spring practice, it was really tilted toward the defense. The offense was struggling at times. I mean, that first scrimmage you and I got to go to out at Tiger Stadium where the media was fully involved, like the offense they looked flat out bad. Well, they've gotten better since then. Landon Clark looks more comfortable. Husan Longstreet's taken a big step forward as well. So, in your opinion, yes, those guys are essentially battling for QB2, if you will. How big of a deal is it that LSU doesn't have Sam Levitt out there in the spring?
Well, I asked Lane Kiffin about that the first time we had media availability with him. And he was talking about that really I was asking about chemistry, with the team and how important is that to really install this early. And he said, really, in spring is really more about fundamentals, if anything. Just trying to really start all over because you're starting with a whole brand new team, basically. So you're really putting in the fundamentals. So when you go to fall camp, that's really more about, the summertime. That's really more about chemistry. And you talk about Trinidad Chambliss, that he really didn't come over until the summer. So I don't think it's such a big deal that Sam Levitt has not been getting the snaps in spring, hasn't gotten the reps. I think it's like Lane Kiffin said, I think it benefits really both parties. Sam gets a chance to continue to heal and recover from surgery, and he also had the other 2 quarterbacks, see what they can do and get them a lot of reps in Kiffin's scheme.
Yeah, I'm actually with you, Jace. From the start, my opinion's always kind of been I don't think it's a huge deal that Levitt's not out there. He's a guy that's played a lot of college football, right? He can take the mental reps. He can still throw to receivers off to the side. He's just not going to do any full contact drills, which, let's be honest, Clark and Longstreet aren't going full contact either. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. But as far as outside of the quarterback position, we've seen Longstreet and Landon Clark both make some good plays, both make some mistakes. But like top standouts for you, maybe guys you're hearing a lot of buzz about, guys you've seen in person. Who are some top standouts for you for the Tigers here in the spring?
Really, I look at the secondary. I mean, I think they really won the spring for me. I mean, Marcus Cooley, he was really good. He was pretty solid last year, but really he's having himself an outstanding spring. And every time we're out there, he's making plays. Every time we're out there, he's making picks. And he made a pick in that scrimmage too. But Ty Benefield, TJ Wendland's making plays. You know what DJ Pickett can do. Man, this secondary has a chance to be really special this year. And, try and get back to LSU DBU, and then Deshaun Spears kind of playing that star role. Man, this secondary is looking really solid. Dylan Jones at the running back position. I mean, he's a guy that really, just stood out, just seeing him for the first time, and he's taking a lot more reps with the ones. And Winnie Watkins, as far as a receiver, I thought he's had a really good spring as well. So a lot of new faces, definitely a lot to really get used to with a whole new team and a whole new regime under Lane Kiffin, but really a lot of guys really like.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the secondary, Jace. Like, I've only got to go out there 2 or 3 times just because normally we are on air on this show when LSU's out there practicing. But, from what I've been able to see when I've been out there, secondary kind of looks like the best group on this team right now. And that's why I was so excited when a guy like Ty Benefield came in. My thought was, okay, it may not be the biggest need for you at safety, but it allows Deshaun Spears to go down in the star. It gives you so much versatility, another veteran body back there. Love what I've seen from the secondary. So, okay, maybe outside of them, that kind of leads into the next thing. Like a position group you're excited to watch in 2026. Like we know secondary kind of seems like the most polished group right now, but is there a group that intrigued you going into the season?
Yeah, I really like the linebackers as well. Maybe talking, just kind of staying on that side of the football too. I mean, you heard Coach Kiffin talk about it, but the defense, this is going to be a defensive team. I mean, starting off, and you see it, right? I mean, you see the secondary and the linebackers. When Whit Weeks is fully ready to go. I know he's back with the team the last week of spring, but when he's fully out there at 100%, you know what kind of linebacker he is. They get TJ Dottery. I thought he was all over the field making plays too of that scrimmage I saw, and pair him with Von Keys. I like that group, and the tight ends too. I think the tight ends been pretty sneaky as well because we know about Trey'Dez Green, but Malachi Thomas is making some plays too. So I mean, as far as a good 1-2 punch, so that's definitely a position group. Obviously, everybody knows about Trey'Dez Green, but as a whole, that position group, something to really not sleep on.
All right, we've been pretty positive so far through this interview. We're going to go a little bit more towards the negative side. So spring basically wrapped up now. What is your biggest concern for this team heading into the fall?
Well, with just seeing them in spring, I mean, I feel like the offensive line, I mean, there's only one way to go up, but just from what I saw, just from the scrimmage, I mean, I still think that's a work in progress. And but you feel like you have some pieces, though. I mean, obviously, with Jordan at left tackle. But, yeah, Jordan Seaton. But, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of things you can really try to see. Both Bordelons had a good spring, but you just don't really know. I know the defensive line really gave offensive line a lot of fits from the scrimmage I was at. And just really the overall depth, Taylor, to be honest with you, on the defensive side. I really love the starters. The defensive front, too, I think I like the starters there. I just think depth is kind of the biggest thing, really, all 3 levels. So it's really important, I think, for this defense really to stay healthy. So I think it's just trying to really continue to develop the depth defensively is my thing.
This is always an underrated portion of spring practice because it's not the flashiest spot, but to me, one of Brian Kelly's biggest Achilles heels when he was here was the special teams unit and the punting game in general. Like, when we've been out there, a couple scrimmages, we've got to see the punt unit a little bit. I thought both guys kind of struggled with consistency. I actually thought Hayden Craig was probably the better of the two out there. Obviously, the transfer coming in. We've seen Scott Starzik hit some long ones. We've seen him miss some long ones. What's kind of been your thought on special teams? Like, I kind of thought that was a big weakness under Brian Kelly.
I agree. And really through the scrimmage I saw, like, that was a little bit of an issue. I mean, we talked about the inconsistency there punting, but kicking. I mean, we talked about the kicker transfer from Arkansas, Scott. I mean, he missed, I think he attempted like 5 kicks and missed like 3. So, and that's like no rush going at special teams. So I think special teams is definitely a concern, leaving the spring as well. I mean, as far as that too, we don't really get to see a whole lot of that during practice because you're so focused. You only have maybe 20 minutes the first couple of weeks to really look at everything. But just seeing the scrimmage and seeing how that was orchestrated, I can see that special teams is a concern as we head into fall.
Yeah, and, Jace, as we approach the summer months, it's going to be list season, as we say, projection season as we head into SEC Media Days. A lot of talk about, like, LSU's win total. Is it playoffs or bust? Like, in your opinion, what record, like, what would be considered a failure for Kiffin here in year one?
I would say in year one, obviously anything less than 8 wins. I mean that would be.
And that's the bottom, right?
That's the bottom, right? I mean, right now you're kind of looking at them through spring, and you don't really incorporate Sam Levitt because you haven't really seen Sam with the team. You probably think that this is, with so many new offensive pieces, and that's really going to tell the tale of this season, Taylor. I mean, I think the defense is going to be as good as it can be across the country. This defense is going to keep this team in games. The question is, with all these new pieces on offense, how does this offense gel? I mean, that's going to really determine the season for LSU. How all these new pieces gel will determine the season. So, I mean, I think going in, you're looking at a 9-3 team. I mean, this is also a very tough schedule too, off the bat, first year. So you're looking at the 9, maybe 10 win range is what I'm looking at.
All right, Jace, before we get you out of here, what you guys got going on at Gridiron?
Yeah, we have a camp coming up tomorrow, actually. So that's going to be my birthday. So, of course, we put on the camp up tomorrow.
Wait a minute. We've known each other for years. Your birthday's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Dude, happy early birthday.
Yeah.
How old are we?
Oh, 29. I got one more year left in the 20s, man.
You're also a year younger than me. Didn't know that. I'll be 30 in September. Yeah. Not happy about it.
But we do have a camp coming up tomorrow at Albany High School. It's basically for any players, 6th grade through 11th grade. All the players will get film as far as their reps, 40 shuttle broad jump, all the combine. The camp is set up like college camp, so it's a good way to learn for young players to get kind of go through the process. And also, if you're a 2027 prospect, we're looking for players for the Gridiron Bowl game. This is the best way to get evaluated for that camp. You can register online at gridironfootballusa.com, or you can just show up to the camp at Albany High School. Registrations from 8 to 9:45 is $100, walk-ups as well. So you can either pay online or you can walk up to the camp at 8 to 9:45. The camp's 10 to 1. Marcus Randall, former LSU quarterback, I know will be one of the coaches that will be at the camp. So if you're an upcoming quarterback, might as well learn from one of the best in Marcus. So, but there it is. Tomorrow, 8 to 1 is the camp. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people there.
All right, Jace LeJeune of Gridiron Football. Jace, happy early birthday, and thanks for hopping on with me this morning.
Appreciate it, Taylor. Good catching up with you, man.
Yep, absolutely. That is Jace LeJeune of Gridiron Football, talking a little spring football practice as the Tigers' spring practice window comes to a close here in year one under Lane Kiffin. We'll take a timeout. We get back, shift our focus back to the NFL draft a little bit. We'll look at winners and losers of the first round. That's coming up next. You're on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, go to getgordon.com. That is the website for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. On the website, you can have a chat right there with a live agent as soon as you log on to getgordon.com. You can check out past client results, cases they can handle for you in the courtroom, all right there on the homepage. You also can pick up the phone anywhere in the state of Louisiana and put your area code followed by 888-8888 and have that conversation with them as well at Get Gordon on all major social media to see what they're doing throughout your local community. Get Gordon and get it done.
That's right, at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. They're here to fight for you. Yeah, I mean, it's a holiday season. We see all the amazing work that Gordon McKernan does in the community with the bike giveaways and everything that they do. We've seen the billboards. Yeah, sure, they can make you laugh sometimes, but they're there to tell you exactly what they're doing. That is the fight for Louisiana. So if you've been injured, it doesn't matter where or how, if it's a car accident, on the job, whatever it is, make sure you give them a call, let them fight for you. Be part of the G Team. GetGordon.com.
What's up? Fresh is our turn, baby. Gator boots with a bitch out Gucci suit. Them Gucci suits. Ain't got no job, but I stay shy. I stay shy. Can't pay my rent. I can't pay my rent. All my money spent, but that's okay, cause I'm still fly. I'm so fly. Get your car clean, gems on shine. And tell mom, get a mink, baby girl, let's ride. You the number one star. We gon' glide and go straight to the mall and tear down the inside.
Locked in on LSU football 24/7. You're listening to Off the Bench.
I want to remind you about our friends over at Pala. When your project demands precision, experience, and a team that gets the job done the right time, the first time, you call Pala. More than 50 years, Pala's been a trusted leader across the Gulf South in industrial construction, maintenance, fabrication, and specialty services. You can learn more at palagroup.com. And you can see why the industry leaders rely on Pala to keep their operations moving. Again, that website is going to be pala.com. Pala, built on safety, backed by experience, and driven by results.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 here on a Friday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp here with you. Jacob Esther, Matt Flynn, Alondra, all out today. They left me by my lonesome. You know, that's what I get. I take 3 days off, a little bit of me time, little baby moon. It was me and the wife's last vacation before the baby comes. And what did they do? They have a remote yesterday. So I'm sitting in studio. And then today, well, we got Jordan and Braxton. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. But come on, guys. Leave me my first day back. It's a little. They didn't spend the whole week with me, which I get. I totally understand.
No. It's Friday, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, we're good. Vibes are high. We're good to go.
NFL draft, man. Come on.
We're good to go. Speaking of NFL draft, look, we've talked a lot of draft, right? Like we broke down in detail the Jordan Tyson pick at 8 overall. We talked about what the Saints were going to do at 2 and 3 as far as the second and third round. Corner, edge, guard. I think all of that is in play for New Orleans here in day 2. What I want to do right now is go back and look at the first round as a whole. Maybe some winners and losers. Every year, somebody comes out looking like a genius for a trade they made. Somebody comes out kind of looking like a donkey. That's kind of where we're at. Every year, you see winners and losers of round 1. I got a lot, so I'm going to let these two guys go first. Jordan, give me a winner.
All right, winner. Obviously, what I said earlier, man. Cowboys getting Caleb Downs. Getting Caleb Downs to fall to at 11. Basically, you didn't have to make no moves. You got one of the best players in the draft. A guy who I think, in my eyes, is going to be a perennial forget Pro Bowl, all-pro. I think he's going to change Dallas' defense. They need that. Dallas definitely needs some defensive help, especially in the secondary. I'll say Caleb Downs is my first winner of the night. I'm going to go to Cowboys total, and that edge rusher y'all got to.
Whether it was winner or loser, I'm glad you brought them up. I didn't include them. I didn't want people being like, oh, shocker, you picked them. I didn't want to include them. There's been a lot of people asking me, like, hey, what do you think about the Cowboys trading up one spot for a player that was probably going to be there at 12? First off, I don't think he was going to be there at 12. Miami loved Caleb Downs. There were a lot of people that had Caleb Downs mocked to the Dolphins. Also, I followed the Cowboys, decently close.
Yeah, a little bit,
They loved Mansour Delane, and I think that was going to be the pick if he was going to be there at 12. So if you're in the Cowboys position, like, look, I criticize Jerry Jones probably more than anyone in this state.
As you should, though. He deserves it.
I don't necessarily hate moving up one spot because all you did, you gave up 2 fifth-round picks both this year. You had 2 fifth-rounders, you gave them up to move up one spot.
Yeah, who cares about
But in the eyes of the Cowboys, let's say you loved Mansour Delane and Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
You already missed out on one because the Chiefs jumped up. They were aggressive. They grabbed Mansour Delane. You missed out on that.
Yeah.
You're sitting there thinking, okay, there's a chance the Dolphins don't take Caleb Downs, but there's a chance that they do. I can give up 2 fifth-round picks, move up one spot, take a player that I know is a day one starter. I don't actually hate it. Like, normally when I see a team move up one spot, I'm like, all right, come on, what are you doing? Like, for the Dolphins, I don't know why they traded the pick. Yeah. I wouldn't have traded the pick. I would have stayed right where I was and taken Caleb Downs. They didn't, though. They moved back. They don't even go safety at 12 overall. Yeah, but I don't, like, in the move, I'm like, Jerry, you're jumping up one spot. But, again, you gave up 2 fifth-round picks. You got a guy that you know is instantly going to make at least some part of your defense better.
Yes.
I'm okay with it.
Yes, 100%.
I'm okay with it.
And then follow that back with Malachi Lawrence. Yeah, pretty good pick.
Malachi Lawrence got some juice to him. Yeah. I mean, Malachi Lawrence, big physical guy off the edge. He can play the run. He can play the pass. Yeah, I like that as a winner.
I like the Cowboys.
Braxton, first-round winner.
Yeah, so I got the Chiefs. I like how they traded up and got Monster Delane. They got their hopefully number 1 corner, and then they got 29th pick. They got Peter Woods. I like that too, just because I know you have already a pretty stead defensive line, but Peter's a guy who can really, I guess, put you in, like, help you with the run defense. He's a big body, so
Chris
he
Jones
can
getting older. Yes, Chris Jones getting older. So.
And with them losing McDuffie and who else was it?
Watson, Jalen Watson.
I really think Monster can really help fulfill that spot in the secondary.
So, love that as well. And you had to jump to 6 because there was a chance Washington takes him at 7.
The Saints
There's a chance the Saints take him at 8. You're sitting there at 9. You had to jump to 6. You don't give up a ton of draft capital to jump up to 6. You desperately needed a corner. You just traded Trent McDuffie to the Rams. And you lost Jalen Watson, his counterpart. You lost both of your starting corners. Actually, ironically, both of them with the Los Angeles Rams now. You had to have a corner. That was a glaring need for this team. You got the best corner in the draft. Love that pick. My winner actually happened before the draft even started.
Okay.
I think the Giants trading Dexter Lawrence and getting 2 top 10 picks. They got the number 10 pick from the Bengals. I think that's a win. And yes, they take Arvell Reese. And some people were looking at that as kind of a head scratcher, saying, hey, you got Brian Burns, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, and you have Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
Why are you going to take Arvell Reese? I understand that. Like, maybe the player fit-wise, need-wise, but you got a versatile defensive player in the top 5, and you were able to get that second pick. With the 10th pick, they take Francis Maui-Noah, who a lot of people thought could be the best all-around offensive lineman in this draft because of his ability to play guard and tackle. They need help on the O-line. Jackson Dart got hit a lot last year. They got to have some running room for Cam Scatterboom. You got to protect the future of that franchise. I actually like that pick. I like getting rid of Dexter Lawrence. He wanted out of there. You got a top 10 pick for him. I do love that. On the flip side of that, and then also Braxton, I have the Chiefs written down as my second winner. I wrote down 2 winners. I do have them written down for it. I'll go ahead and kick us off with the losers because it kind of ties in directly to the Giants. I know they needed help on defense. I'm not trading the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals. I did not like
loser?
that move.
The Bengals are the loser?
I love the move for the Giants, which means I hate the move for the Bengals. Like, you needed edge more than interior anyways. Like, Dexter Lawrence is not an edge rusher. You still have trouble there. You also need a ton. Like, you need secondary help. You need edge rusher help. You need offensive line help. You had a top 10 pick. Boom. Now you have no first-round pick. And sure, you pick up Dexter Lawrence, like, good player, still 28 years old. But, like, let's be honest. You go look statistically, he's coming off the worst season of his NFL career. He had half a sack, lowest in his NFL career. 31 tackles combined, lowest in his NFL career. He did have 4 tackles for a loss. That's what he did. And he played in all 17 games. So it's not like he was hurt and his production dipped because he wasn't on the field. 31 total tackles, half a sack, 4 tackles for a loss. You traded a top 10 pick for that guy. I'm not saying Dexter Lawrence has lost a step. He's only 28 years old. He makes Cincinnati's defense better. There is no question about it.
Yeah, he does.
And maybe you're looking at 10.
But he doesn't put him over the top.
Right. And maybe you're looking at 10. You're like, okay, we also need a guy like a Mansour Delane. We couldn't find anybody that wanted to trade up with us. Let's go ahead and trade for a guy that makes your defense better. I can understand that. It's just trading for an interior defensive lineman when I think you had bigger needs elsewhere for a guy coming off the worst season of his career. 10's a little rich for me. Give it up. If you're Cincinnati and you're sitting at 19, 20, good with it. No problem. You have a chance to get an elite player in the top 10.
On a rookie contract.
Right, on a rookie contract. You didn't do it. Dexter Lawrence, also big contract attached to him as well.
That's why I was confused about that.
I don't love that pick or that decision to trade that 10th pick for Dexter Lawrence. Either of you guys got any losers?
I would say my loser would have to be the Steelers, man. Just the optics behind them calling Mekhi Lemon just for the Eagles to come and jump ahead of them. I mean, yeah, I guess they could use tackle help. But the Steelers, you don't have a quarterback. You have Metcalf, and didn't they get Pittman? So they got Pittman now, too?
Yes.
They got Pittman, all right. But it's just the optics.
Hey, good. You got 2 good receivers with nobody to throw the ball.
Like, I don't know what exactly is going on in Pittsburgh. Like, it's confusing me. Because I have a friend that's a Steelers fan, and he was confused at him taking a tackle. So I don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh right now, especially because is Aaron Rodgers playing football? We're going on the round 2 and 3, and you don't have I don't know, man. So it's like, are they taking a quarterback today, or like what's going on? Like we literally have no idea. I guess, but we might be sitting here Monday being like, yeah, Gary Nussmeier is a Pittsburgh Steeler.
I mean, you might actually be. Like, I mean, that's a legitimate possibility. Nussmeier, Carson Beck, one of those guys. Like, watch.
But dude, if we're going to season with Beck and
Beck is too old.
Oh, Lord. I don't even about the old thing because my quarterback's old, so I can't do the old thing. Yeah, my quarterback's old.
Listen, guys, they play the quarterback position. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm tired of this.
old.
I have gone on this spiel. People are probably tired of hearing about it. I have gone on this spiel about Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck was drafted at 26 years old, correct?
Yes.
If he is your starting quarterback for the next 10 years, you nailed the pick, and he's 36 years old.
And he's still
I don't care if a quarterback is old coming out of the draft. They play well into their 30s now. Doesn't matter.
How old is Stafford right now? 38?
Yes.
38?
Stafford just won the MVP last year.
38?
You have your starting quarterback potentially for the next 6 years or the next 10 years, and he's 36 years old at that point. At that point, it doesn't matter. You had your franchise quarterback.
If you get 10 years out of NFL career, that's a blessing.
Exactly.
That's a blessing.
Any other position, receiver, running back, corner, I get it. The shelf life is not as long. Quarterback, be as old as you want. Be 30 years old coming out of the draft. If you're good, I'm taking you, and you know what? You're going to be my quarterback for the next 7 years, and I'm going to win a lot of games.
I think he's a quarterback that can run the show when he has people to give the ball to.
He does.
We're talking about Nussmeier?
Beck.
Oh, Beck.
I
mean,
Beck. If he gets to the right team, right system, he'll be fine. But if he's the one where he has to run the show,
they ain't got their starting quarterback in this year's draft in Pittsburgh.
Well, Taylor, you know, McCarthy was the Cowboys head coach, and you're a Cowboys fan. Can you feel like McCarthy can elevate like a Nussmeier or like a Carson Beck? Is he that type of quarterback coach? Or?
I like McCarthy.
Okay.
And the guy who normally sits here, where
Matt
old
Flynn?
Kane is today, he could speak on Mike McCarthy a lot better than me. I know how Matt feels about Mike McCarthy. And Matt told me he likes Mike McCarthy. So I'm going to take his word for it. I liked McCarthy. I don't think McCarthy was a problem in Dallas. Like maybe a problem, not the main problem.
Okay.
I didn't hate the shakeup, but he kind of took the fall for a lot of things in Dallas. Like I like Mike McCarthy. I don't know what Pittsburgh is going to do. They're going to have to beg Aaron Rodgers to come back
again
at this point. But you know, you guys were mentioning the Jets. You guys like what the Jets did?
No. Braxton likes what they did. I don't. I still
Braxton
think
likes
what they did.
I do not.
Yeah, I'm about to say Mason Taylor.
If it was another team, I would love it.
But it's his Jets.
Right? You got Kenyon Sadiq. You grabbed Omar Cooper Jr.
Nice.
You had 3 first-round picks in total. It was awesome. You traded back up to get that 3rd first-round pick. My problem is, look at what you have. Like, yes, you have Mason Taylor, but Kenyon Sadiq can play on the outside. Like, he's a hybrid anyways. When I look at the Jets, you now have Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, Mason Taylor, Breece Hall.
Nasty.
Awesome. Excellent playmakers. And Geno frickin' Smith at quarterback with no one to get them the ball. You drafted to win now. You don't have the quarterback to win now. You traded future draft capital up to get that 3rd first-round pick. Again, that's like a team that is drafting to win now, but you're not in win now mode. You're the New York Jets. I like the picks. I like the players. I don't like that the Jets were the ones making those picks because you're not ready to contend, and that's what a contending team does.
I just think they're in a tank for arts, man. Like I think they're full. Like you don't pick up Geno Smith, who just blessed the Raiders with the #1 pick, and thinking that is gonna flip a switch and you're the Jets. It's not like you're going into the Steel. Like if Geno went to the Steelers, okay, like maybe he might have a little bit of juice in the tank, but just that putting on that Jets jersey just brings your overall down about 50%. Like you're drained, bro.
I mean, you think they're gonna draft a quarterback?
Probably today.
Yeah,
probably today or tomorrow.
Also, I hate to just stay as negative Nancy. Apparently, I hated the draft. I got 2 more losers here.
Oh, Lord.
I only really had 2 winners. I got 2 more losers. First one is the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
Talked about this a little bit in the first segment. I think Jeremiah Love's awesome. I'm not necessarily one of those people that's like, you can't draft a running back in the first round. If it's your final piece, and you like, okay, when the Lions did this with Jahmyr Gibbs, they already had a David Montgomery to take a little bit of the pressure off of him. They had Jared Goff. They had Amon-Ra St. Brown. You had the O-line fixed. You're like, I need one more weapon, one more playmaker, a versatile guy like a Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm good with it. And they've won a lot of games with Jahmyr Gibbs. They've been real close to making a run there in Detroit. You are so far away from contending if you're Arizona. You need help all across the offensive line. Jacoby Brissett's your quarterback, which means he's probably not your long-term answer. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is underachieved. I think you need help outside. Your defensive line, like you don't really have a premier pass rusher at this point. And you drafted a running back 3rd overall. Great player. He doesn't have an offensive line to lean on. what's Jacoby Brissett going to do? I mean, he was actually decent last year, but can that continue? Your defense is a mess. You're going to be playing from behind in a lot of games, so you're in a negative game script. How much is Jeremiah Love actually even going to get the ball? Again, love the player, hate the team that made the pick. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. If I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I'm either trading back or I'm grabbing edge rush or offensive line right there. And you can say, oh, that's high. Look, Arvell Reese was there for the taking. That's a guy you could have grabbed. Caleb Downs was there. That's a guy that's going to make your defense better. Jeremiah Love, I think, was a pick 2 years from now for Arizona. Give him year 3. Maybe that's a team you can build around him. I don't think running back is ever your first piece if you're drafting them in the first round. If it's your last piece, fine. If you're like, hey, a Bijan Robinson, a Jahmyr Gibbs, a Saquon can really put me over the top on offense and everything else is in place, take it. Other than that, I don't like it, especially a team like the Cardinals, probably playing from behind in a lot of games. Also, the Tennessee Titans. Like that, to me, that screamed panic pick. You grabbed Wan'Dale Robinson in the offseason. You actually have some decent young receivers. Like, yeah, I'm all about getting Cam Ward some more weapons, but if I personally believe the Titans panicked because they were going to take Jeremiah Love, didn't think the Cardinals were going to do it. I'm either going Love. If not, I'm going to shore up that defense a little bit more. I mean, I think you did a good job in the secondary. Need a little bit of help on defensive line. Maybe help out Jeffrey Simmons. Try to free him up a little bit more. I don't love what they did with Carnell Tate. One, I think that's too high. Also, I just gut feeling. I don't think that was the pick that they wanted to make. I think they panicked and they were like, you know what? We'll just go value here. See if we can get something out of Carnell Tate. Again, good player. Don't like the fit there with Tennessee. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, talk a little bit more spring practice, some things that I think need to be a lot better for LSU football coming up here in 2026. That's coming up next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, go to gcopnet.com. That is the website for Gulf Coast Office Products. And look, we tell you all the time, it is one of those situations where if you need a document, you can't really wait. It's not like, oh, we'll get somebody in here to fix it. No, you got to have it done right then and there. And so that's what GCOP does for you every single time, because they have the fastest service response times in the region, top of the line Canon copiers and printers, and a local team that actually picks up the phone when you call them. From small businesses to major enterprises, GCOP builds custom solutions that save you time, money, and headaches. So stop fighting with your office equipment and let the pros handle it. And that is always going to be Gulf Coast Office Products. That's why LSU, the Saints, the Pelicans, the Raging Cajuns all trust GCOP. They are truly the best in the business. Find all that information on their website at gcopnet.com.
Hey, Payne, I want you to tell him about your shoulder, homie. And I'm going to tell him about mine, dog.
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
I can't stand to see you treated bad. I beat his ass for my shorty. And we ain't did nothing that we ain't supposed to do, cause you mine. Whoa. Baby girl, you know I be home. Keep me on the ringtone. Say it to me, girl.
Soon as I seen her, she told her I'd pay for it.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2 here on a Friday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Jacob Esser and Matt Flynn, who will be back, both of them, on Monday. Look, we have talked a lot of NFL draft. We've talked a little bit of spring football. Real quick here, we got a few minutes before we need to go to break. Ran long in that last segment. My apologies there. Want to mention a little bit of spring practice. So yesterday, on Thursday, was the last day of media availability for spring practice. So that's it. Not really going to get to see anything until fall camp rolls around. And I was unable to make it out there. Because, look, a lot of times, like, during the week, I can go to the Saturday scrimmages during the week. It's Hunt and Matt. Like, they're out there because they let you in at, like, 9:45. We don't get done till 10. LSU really doesn't like when you show up late. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that guy. So, it's been limited what I could see during the week. But they have a pretty detailed practice report, the final spring practice report. You can read it on LouisianaSports.net. They've done a great job all spring long, keeping you updated. And, my overall takeaway, like, if you want to go read the detailed report of the one-on-ones, the 11-on-11, you can certainly do that. My overall takeaway is, I think when spring started, Landon Clark kind of seemed like the more ready of the two quarterbacks kind of seemed like the more polished. And then, when we all went out there during that first scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, I thought Husan Longstreet had the better day. However, I thought both really struggled. Really, since that point going forward, you've seen more and more Husan Longstreet running with the ones. It was almost exclusively Landon Clark for the first week and a half of spring. Like the first 2 days was kind of split reps. Then it was Clark for like a week straight. After that, you've seen more and more Husan Longstreet with the ones. Now, keep in mind, this is the battle for QB2 because, make no mistake about it, Sam Levitt is going to be your starting quarterback when you kick things off against Clemson coming up here in the opener. That is going to happen. But Longstreet maybe has passed Landon Clark. I think there's a role for Clark because I think he's such a good runner. I mean, on inside run yesterday, Matt reports that he had a 60-yard touchdown run on inside run. And that's something that it's not out of the ordinary for a guy like Landon Clark. The scrimmages we've been able to go to, he's busted some runs there as well. And I understand you're going to say, well, hell, Taylor, they can't touch him. Of course he's busting long runs. Yeah, but I mean, before he's even touched, he's 9-10 yards down the field. So the guy can run. Make no mistake about it. But, Longstreet, a little bit more consistent here the past few weeks. It'll be interesting to see, if by any chance Sam Levitt does go down in the season, who goes in? Is it Clark, who started a lot more games at a little bit of a lower level like Elon, or is it Husan Longstreet, the former 5-star, even though he only played in 4 games last year, USC? So a lot less experience, but he has done it at a higher level of football. So it'll be interesting to see, as an insurance policy to Sam Levitt, who Lane Kiffin would actually turn to. That's something that to be watching, kind of as we get into fall camp, and obviously as the season goes along. But the big thing for me, special teams has got to be a lot better. We had Jace LeJeune on earlier, and look, in my opinion, that was one of the big Achilles heels of the Brian Kelly era. I don't think he ever figured out his special teams. Damian Ramos was steady. He was consistent as your field goal kicker. Outside of that, I think you struggled. Your returning game, I mean, we were begging for somebody to just go back there and fair catch it and not drop the ball. Kelly's last 2 years here. I mean, that's how bad it got Kelly's first 2 years here. And then punters been very shaky. You've kind of had a turnstile of punters going through this program. All of them have been shaky. Now, Grant Chadwick does return. You bring in Hayden Craig from Florida. They were both punting. We got to see a little bit of the punts in both of those scrimmages. And while I thought both of them were shaky, I thought Hayden Craig was probably a little bit better than Grant Chadwick. I mean, and it's kind of splitting hairs. I thought his good kicks were better. That's what I should say. Both of them had their struggles with consistency. I thought Craig's good punts were better than that of Grant Chadwick. Also, punt return needs to be stable. On this practice report, special teams is mentioned, and look, the punt returners that we've seen back there has been kind of the same. Chase Brown, Trey Wilson, Winston Watkins, Dylan Jones, Jabari Mack. Those 5 guys have been kind of rotating. From what I've seen, again, it's been limited on my part. Chase Brown's maybe been the most consistent. Matt and Hunt put in this article of note, Wilson muffed another punt. He's done that 4 of the 5 times in media availability. If you're going to fumble the punt, you can't be back there. Think about 2 years ago. We were so excited when Aaron Anderson and Xavion Thomas joined this program because we were like, hey, can you get any sort of thing in the return game? And, at the end of the year, Aaron Anderson had a kickoff return against Oklahoma. Xavion Thomas had one in the bowl game against Baylor. Then you paired that with bringing in a Barian Brown this past year. Now, it wasn't necessarily bad. Barian Brown had the kickoff return for a touchdown against Houston in the bowl game. And, there were 2 or 3 times Xavion Thomas looked like he was close to breaking one. It needs to be stable back there. However, this offense is going to be good enough to where it's not going to have to rely on punt return, in my opinion. I kind of think it's just, can you get a steady guy back there that's going to catch the ball, that knows when to call for a fair catch, knows when to try to return it? That's all I ask for. Last year, you wanted so much more out of the return game that it almost felt like they underachieved, even if they didn't, raw numbers-wise, because your offense was so stagnant that you needed a defensive turnover. You needed a big play in the return game to kind of flip the field, get you in plus territory, help out this stagnant offense. With Lane Kiffin coming in, I don't really see that being an issue because I think Kiffin's going to have a really good offense. Not a hot take or anything. He's had a good offense everywhere he's been. So can you just get a little bit of stability back there in the returning game. If you can do that, I think this team's going to put up a lot of points. Look, whether it's Levitt, whether it's Clark, whether it's Longstreet, these guys are getting more and more comfortable in this offense as spring went along. Like, the first scrimmage I went to, I came back up in here Saturday, and I was like, yeah, it was ugly. The offense was terrible. Well, since that point on, they've gotten a little bit better. Each time the reports have come out from spring practice, it's, hey, the offense looks a little bit better. They're gelling a little bit. And that's without your starting quarterback even in there. All I ask on this punt return unit, don't fumble the ball. That's it. If you make smart decisions, you're sure-handed, you're back there, I'm good with it. I just don't need anything disastrous. Because, again, I think this offense is going to put up a lot of points. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we're wrapping up hour number 2. Then in hour 3, we'll have Devin Snow, a.k.a. Hold the Mayo. He'll jump on with us. We'll look at LSU Tigers remaining in the NFL draft, when they can maybe potentially hear their name called, what kind of pro prospects they are. And then at 9:30, we'll get a baseball preview, Mississippi State, LSU out there in Starkville. That's all coming up here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, I want to tell you about our awesome new friends over at Emerson Heating and Air Company. They have been out to my house twice now. One to give me a little spring checkup, make sure my AC unit is rocking and rolling, ready to go for summer. And another time, I had a backed up drain line over there, and I called them on a Wednesday. They were out there on a Thursday. My AC was running and humming and purring like it never has before on Thursday. So they are the best. They are a company that truly, like, their owners are involved in it. It's not this big company. We used to work with a company that was so corporate. I had to call an 800 number. Like, the people that came out there, they didn't know my name. Like, these people, they're in the business. And guess what? If you call them right now, there's an OTB special right now. Make sure that AC is up and running before summer. $89 special for that spring service. So give them a call or go see them at emsair.net.
Slow motion for me, moving slow motion for me. Slow motion for me.
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
I like it like that. She working that back. I don't know how to act. Slow motion for me. Slow motion for me.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment here in hour 2, Friday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp sitting in here with you. We've been draft heavy so far here on this Friday. We've talked a little bit of LSU football, but for the most part, it's been NFL draft. Look, that's going to continue a little bit into hour 3. We'll talk about the remaining LSU Tigers in the draft. Who can maybe have their name called next? Spoiler alert, it's probably A.J. Halsey. We'll talk to Devin Snow, Hold the Mayo, his normal Friday segment at 9 a.m. We'll get his thoughts on the draft. Look, our guy said he was done with WrestleMania, but he's been tweeting a lot about it these last few days. We'll get his thoughts. I know he's going to be out there at the Zurich. We'll talk about that as well. Matt Moscona, 3 to 6 AFR, will actually be live from the Zurich. Tune in to hear that. And then Hunt Palmer, of course, out there in Starkville for the baseball series, which we will break down at 9:30. Just a few more minutes here before break. We got 2 guys back there that are just itching to go. I mean, I heard them this morning arguing about this before the show even started. We got Jordan, we got Braxton. The dudes love basketball. Braxton's such a good athlete. He blew out his knee last night in a pickup game. I mean, these guys are all about ball. Like, they are the definition of ball is life. Guys, we got some NBA playoff series. Some of them, in my opinion, a little bit surprising. Maybe not even, where the series stands, but how the games have gone so far. Are the Denver Nuggets cooked?
They are definitely cooked. Yeah. They're in deep doo-doo. You don't respond like that after Jaden McDaniels calls out the whole team, basically says, we're going to go at him. Jokic can't defend. Jamal Murray can't defend. Calls out the whole team. And then on back of that, he drops 21 and 10, and they smoke you guys. It
was like a 35-point lead at halftime.
Literally smoked them. So I think the Nuggets are definitely in deep doo-doo. That's never a good sign. That's never a good sign for a championship caliber team to respond like that.
Keep in mind, you got smoked last night by the Timberwolves, and Anthony Edwards scored 17 points, 6 of 15 shooting.
Literally.
Anthony Edwards wasn't good last night.
And he
was
smoked.
2 for 8 from 3, and the Timberwolves handled that game. Anthony Edwards isn't going to do that night in and night out. Anthony Edwards is going to give you 25-30 next game.
And he's not even healthy right now.
Right,
so
and you're really going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me who were the highest scorer for the Timberwolves last night, if I didn't watch the game, I would have said easy, I could say Jay McDaniels, I could say Julius Randle, but
Obviously, it's perennial all-star AU Dosunmu. Obviously.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I mean, look,
Obviously, everybody had that on their bingo card. He was going to lead them in scoring. Look, Timberwolves lead that series 2-1 right now, but it doesn't look great. And then another team that people had high expectations for. This is a team that won 53 games in the regular season. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The Knicks are probably not going to live up to everyone's expectations. Shocker, some things in life never change. They looked really good in game 1, but the Hawks have came back, got game 2 and game 3. They narrowly get it last night, 109 to 108. CJ McCollum, actually, pretty big game for the Hawks.
Back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Are the Knicks done?
The Knicks are definitely.
I'd hate to
like I
be
said,
Stephen A.
I don't think they're
not done. They're not done.
I think out of the
It's
two
going 7.
teams, the Knicks have a
7.
better chance of winning that series.
Yeah.
One, I think the Knicks are a more talented team than the Hawks. They're not playing up to the standard right now.
100%.
The Knicks have a roster. The Nuggets are in a matchup nightmare right now. Like we just talked about that. So it'll be interesting to watch. A lot of teams that people thought were maybe finals contenders could be out here pretty early here in the NBA playoffs. All right, that's going to do it for hour number 2. Coming up, we got Davin Snow, top of hour number 3. That's coming up next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All right, go to centralplumbing.org. Remember, not only in Central and the entire greater Baton Rouge area, they can help you out 24/7, 365 weekend, game day, holiday, emergency service at 225-925-8552. Now, it doesn't have to be an emergency. If you're looking to upgrade at your home, at your business, they can come in and they can do that as well with a remodel. It can be just a new vanity. It can be a completely new space, new shower, new tub, new tile, new everything. They can get it all done. They can go tankless today as well with a tankless water heater. Never run out of hot water. Again, centralplumbing.org.
I want you to close your eyes for a minute and just picture this. It's Thanksgiving afternoon or maybe Thanksgiving evening. You got a whole family over. You're hosting. Everyone's having a great time. Clank, clank. The toilet doesn't work. Oh, my God. What are you going to do? Well, guess what? 24/7, 365 emergency service, even on Thanksgiving. Call 225-925-8552. Go check them out. The experts. centralplumbing.org.